The washing machine was making that awful noise again. The one that sounded like rocks tumbling around inside. I was bent over it in the tiny laundry room of my daughter Monica's house in Portland. My back hurt. My knees hurt. Everything hurt these days. But I kept loading the wet clothes into the dryer because that's what grandmas do. At least that's what Monica told me. This house smelled like vanilla candles and expensive cleaning products. Nothing like my little house back in Ohio that smelled like cinnamon and old books. I've been living here for 3 years now. 3 whole years since Monica said she desperately needed my help with the twins. The twins were 7 now. Big enough to pour their own cereal. But I was still here. Still doing laundry at 6 in the morning. Today was special though. Today I turned 60 years old. Monica had insisted on throwing me a party. I didn't want one. I told her that. But she said it would be rude not to celebrate such an important birthday. So here I was, making finger sandwiches for people I barely knew. The kitchen counter was covered with little pieces of bread. I was spreading cream cheese on each one and adding a tiny piece of cucumber on top. Monica's friends liked fancy food. Her husband Derek liked fancy everything. Their whole life was fancy. Big house, fancy cars, fancy friends. I didn't fit in here. But they needed me. Or at least that's what Monica always said. My phone made a dinging sound. I wiped my hands on a towel and picked it up. It was a message from Facebook. Monica Jackson tagged you in a post. My stomach felt funny. Monica didn't usually post about me. I opened the app slowly. The picture was from 2 years ago. I was standing in their garage holding a huge box. My hair was a mess. I looked tired. Really tired. My shirt had a stain on it. Next to me was Monica. She looked beautiful like always. Perfect hair. Perfect smile. Perfect everything. The words under the picture made my hands shake. Happy birthday to my amazing mom who does so much for our family. Check your email for a little treat. You deserve it. Love you forever. I clicked out of Facebook fast. My heart was beating too hard. Little treat. Those words felt wrong somehow. I opened my email with shaky fingers. There it was. A message from Monica. The subject said your birthday gift. Inside was a picture of a green Starbucks card. $25. That was it. Just $25 for turning 60 years old. I stared at that card for a long time. $25. That was what you gave to the mailman at Christmas. Or the lady who cuts your hair. Not your mother. Not on her 60th birthday. Not when that mother wakes up every single day at 5:30 to pack school lunches and fold laundry and drive kids to soccer practice. My phone dinged again. Another Facebook notification. Someone had commented on Monica's post. It was my friend Helen from back home. Helen had known me since I was young. She wrote sweet words about how I looked good and how nice Monica was to post about me. Then I saw the little dots. Monica was typing a reply. I should have closed the app. I should have put the phone down. But I couldn't stop myself from watching. Monica's reply appeared on the screen. Helen, thanks so much. Mom already used her gift card super fast, haha. My mother-in-law Patricia is so different. We tried to give her a cruise to Alaska for her birthday last month and she actually cried and said no. She said being with family was the only gift she needed. Just different types of people, I guess. I read it 3 times. Each time it hurt more. Different types of people. She was telling everyone I was greedy. She was telling them Patricia was better than me. Patricia. The woman who visited twice a year for exactly 3 hours each time. Patricia who brought store-bought cookies and took 1,000,000 pictures for her Instagram before leaving. The cream cheese knife fell out of my hand onto the floor. I didn't pick it up. The washing machine was still making that terrible noise, but it sounded far away now. My brain was pulling up memories. All the things I'd done for Monica. All the money I'd given her. Just last year she'd asked to borrow money from my retirement account. $60,000. She said it was for Patricia's birthday party. A huge fancy party at some expensive hotel. With a live band and flowers everywhere and food from a famous chef. She said they'd pay me back really soon. They never did. Every time I brought it up she'd say they were having money troubles. But they just bought a new car last month. I thought about all the bills I paid. The power bill. The water bill. Sometimes even the house payment when they said things were tight. I thought about buying all the groceries every week. $300. $400. Sometimes $500. Monica would hand me $200 at the start of the month and act like she was being so generous. The rest came from my small retirement check. The check that was supposed to help me live when I got old. I was old now, 60 years old, and I had almost nothing left in my bank account. I'd given it all to Monica, and she'd given me $25 and told the whole world I was greedy. Something inside me changed right then. It was like a light switch flipping off. Or maybe flipping on. All those years of making excuses for Monica. All those times I told myself she was just busy or stressed or didn't mean to hurt me. All of that just stopped. I walked over to the stove and turned it off. The pot of soup I was making for the party stopped bubbling. I took off my apron. It was old and faded and had little flowers on it. My mother had given it to me 30 years ago. I folded it nice and neat and put it on the counter. Then I walked to the small bedroom where I slept. It used to be the office. Now it was my room. I pulled out my old suitcase from under the bed. I didn't pack much. Some clothes, my toothbrush, the little jewelry box my husband gave me before he died, a book I was reading, my laptop computer. I looked at the photos on the dresser. Pictures of the twins. Pictures of Monica's wedding. I left them all there. They belonged to a different version of me. A version who didn't exist anymore. I went back to the kitchen and grabbed my purse. Inside was my wallet with my driver's license and credit cards. Everything I needed. I pulled out my phone and opened an app to call a car. The airport was 30 minutes away. A driver could be here in 5 minutes. I pressed the button to request the ride. While I waited, I did something I'd never done before. I went back to that Facebook post. The one where Monica had called me greedy without actually saying the word. Where she'd compared me to perfect Patricia who didn't need money or gifts because she was just so wonderful. I looked at Monica's comment. Then I pressed the little thumbs up button. I liked her comment. The one that hurt me so badly. Let her think about that. Let her wonder what it meant. The doorbell rang. My ride was here. I grabbed my suitcase and walked to the front door. I didn't look back at the kitchen. At the half-made sandwiches. At the soup cooling on the stove. At the laundry still wet in the washing machine. None of it was my problem anymore. The driver was a young woman with purple hair and a friendly smile. She helped me put my suitcase in the trunk. Going somewhere fun today, she asked as I climbed into the back seat. Going home, I said. The words felt good in my mouth. Really good. Oh, nice, she said. Where's home? Ohio, I told her. I've been away for a while, but I'm going back now. Cool, she said and started driving. We drove past big houses and perfect lawns. This was Monica's neighborhood. Everything here was expensive and beautiful and cold. Not cold like winter. Cold like nobody really knew each other. Like everybody was pretending to be happy. My little neighborhood in Ohio wasn't fancy. But people actually talked to each other. Actually cared about each other. We got to the airport and I paid the driver with my credit card. The one I'd been saving for emergencies. This was definitely an emergency. An emergency escape. I walked through the big glass doors into the airport. Nobody here knew me. Nobody knew I was somebody's mother or somebody's grandmother or somebody's unpaid helper. I was just a woman with a suitcase. Felt amazing. I found the ticket counter and waited in line. When it was my turn, I smiled at the young man behind the computer. "One ticket to Columbus, Ohio, please," I said. "Way." He clicked on his computer for a minute. "I have a flight leaving in 2 hours," he said. "Is that okay?" "Perfect," I said. "Absolutely perfect." I paid for the ticket with my credit card. Cost $340. That was okay. I had enough. I walked through security and found my gate. Then I sat down in one of those uncomfortable plastic chairs and finally let myself breathe. My phone was still off. I knew what would happen when I turned it back on. Monica would have gone home by now. She'd see the empty kitchen. The unfinished food. My missing suitcase. She'd be furious. But I didn't want to hear it. Not yet. Not while I was still escaping. I kept my phone off and just sat there watching people walk by. Families with kids. Old couples holding hands. Business people rushing to their flights. Normal people living normal lives. After a while they called my flight. I got in line with everyone else. Handed my ticket to the gate agent. Walked down the long hallway onto the plane. Found my seat by the window. Buckled my seatbelt. The plane was full of people, but I felt completely alone. Alone in a good way though. Like I was in my own little bubble where nobody could hurt me or use me or take advantage of me. The plane started moving. Faster and faster down the runway. Then we were up in the air. Flying above the clouds. Below me Portland got smaller and smaller until it disappeared. I was really doing this. Really leaving. My heart felt lighter than it had in 3 whole years. The flight attendant came by with drinks. I ordered apple juice. Came in a tiny cup with ice. I sipped it slowly and looked out the window at the clouds. They looked like cotton balls. Like something soft you could sleep on. I thought about Monica and wondered when she'd notice I was gone. Probably soon. She'd need someone to pick up the twins from school. Someone to start dinner. Someone to clean up after the party that would never happen now. For 3 years I'd been that someone. Every single day. Wake up early. Make breakfast. Pack lunches. Drive to school. Clean the house. Do the laundry. Make dinner. Help with homework. Give bath. Read bedtime stories. All while Monica and Derek worked their important jobs and went to their important meetings. I'd done it all without complaining because that's what grandmas do. That's what mothers do. They help their kids. But somewhere along the way helping turned into being used. Turned into being taken for granted. Turned into being valued at exactly $25. The plane ride was 5 hours long. I dozed off for a while. When I woke up we were flying over mountains. Big white mountains with snow on top. They looked beautiful and cold and far away from everything. Kind of like how I felt inside. Beautiful and cold and far away from the life I'd been living. I was starting over. 60 years old I was starting completely over. Most people would think that was scary. But I felt excited. We landed in Columbus just as the sun was setting. The sky was orange and pink and purple all mixed together. Oh sky. My sky. I felt tears in my eyes but happy tears this time. I got my suitcase from the baggage claim and walked outside to find a taxi. The air smelled different here. Smelled like home. Like leaves and rain and memories. The taxi driver was an old man with a kind face. He loaded my suitcase in the trunk and asked where I was headed. I gave him my address. The address I'd had for 35 years. The house I'd almost sold to give Monica more money. Thank goodness I hadn't done that yet. We drove through familiar streets. Past the grocery store where I used to shop. Past the library where I used to take Monica when she was little. Everything looked exactly the same. Like I'd never left. Except I had left. I'd left for 3 years and turned into someone I didn't recognize. Someone who said yes to everything. Someone who gave away all her money and time and energy. Someone who accepted $25 for her 60th birthday and didn't say a word. But that person was gone now. She'd disappeared somewhere over those white mountains. The taxi pulled up in front of my house. It was a small house. Just 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. But it had a front porch with a rocking chair and a yard with rose bushes. It was perfect. It was mine. I paid the driver and walked up to my front door. The key was still in my purse where I'd left it 3 years ago. I unlocked the door and stepped inside. The house smelled a little dusty. A little closed up. But it smelled like my house. My furniture was still here. My pictures on the walls. My dishes in the kitchen. Everything exactly where I'd left it. I dropped my suitcase by the door and just stood there for a minute. Taking it all in. Then I walked through each room. Running my hand along the walls. Touching my things. Remembering who I used to be before Monica needed me. Before I became Grandma the helper instead of Linda the person. Linda. That was my name. I'd almost forgotten. For 3 years I'd just been Mom or Grandma or Hey You. Never Linda. I made myself a cup of tea and sat at my kitchen table. My table. In my kitchen. It was time. I couldn't avoid it anymore. I took a deep breath and turned on my phone. It exploded with noise. Beeping and buzzing and dinging like crazy. Text messages. Voicemails. Facebook notifications. Emails. All of it flooding in at once. 115 missed calls. Most of them from Monica. Some from Derek. A few from my sister Marie back in Ohio. 203 text messages. 89 Facebook notifications. I felt sick to my stomach. But I made myself look. I opened the text messages and scrolled to the beginning. Monica 5:15 p.m. Mom, where are you? The guests will be here soon. Monica 5:20 p.m. This isn't funny. Your car is still here. Where did you go? Monica 5:45 p.m. I can't believe you just left. Everyone is here asking about you. Do you know how embarrassing this is? Derek 6:05 p.m. Linda, we don't know what's going on, but this is really inappropriate. Monica's mother-in-law had to bring food. Please come back so we can discuss this like adults. Monica 6:30 p.m. We checked the neighbor's security camera. You got in a car with your suitcase. Are you insane? Did you go to the airport? Monica 7:15 p.m. You are the most selfish person I've ever met. You've ruined my entire life. How could you do this to me? On and on and on. The messages got meaner as the night went on. Calling me crazy. Calling me selfish. Calling me a terrible mother and grandmother. But nowhere in any of those messages did Monica ask if I was okay. If I was safe. If something had happened. It was all about her. About how I'd embarrassed her. About how I'd made her look bad. About how I'd abandoned my responsibilities. Not once did she mention the $25 gift card. Not once did she apologize for that Facebook post. I deleted the messages without reading them all. Then I listened to the first voicemail. Monica's voice came through the phone sharp and angry. Mom, I don't know what kind of childish game you're playing, but you need to stop right now. You walked out on your own birthday party. You left your granddaughters wondering where you went. You made me look like a fool in front of everyone. When you're done with your tantrum, you better come back and apologize. I deleted that voicemail too. And all the others without listening. They'd all say the same thing. I was wrong. I was bad. I was selfish. How dare I leave? But none of them would mention the real reason I left. None of them would understand. I made myself dinner. Just a simple sandwich with the bread that was in my freezer. It tasted better than any fancy meal I'd made at Monica's house. I ate slowly at my table and thought about what to do next. Monica owed me $60,000. Money I'd given her for Patricia's party. Money she promised to pay back. Money she'd never even mentioned again. I needed that money. Not just because it was mine, but because I needed it to prove something. To prove I wasn't just a wallet. Wasn't just free labor. Wasn't just someone to use and throw away. The next morning I woke up in my own bed. My bed. Not the fold-out couch in Monica's office. Not a room that smelled like printer ink and old papers. My room with my blankets and my pillows and my alarm clock that didn't go off at 5:30. I woke up at 8 in the morning. And nobody needed me. Nobody was yelling for breakfast. Nobody needed their homework signed. Nobody needed anything. Felt strange. But good strange. I made coffee and sat on my front porch in the rocking chair. My neighbor Mrs. Chen was watering her flowers. She looked up and saw me and her whole face lit up. Linda, she called out. I'm back. I walked over to the fence between our yards. I'm back, I said. For good this time. She smiled so big. I'm so glad, she said. We've missed you. Your house has been so quiet. We talked for a few minutes about her garden and her grandkids who visited sometimes. It was nice. Easy. She didn't ask me for anything. Didn't expect me to do anything. Just talked to me like a regular person. After she went inside, I went back in my house and looked up lawyers on my computer. I needed someone who could help me get my money back from Monica. Took me a while, but I found one. A woman named Barbara Henderson who specialized in family financial disputes. I called her office and made an appointment for that afternoon. Then I finally looked at Facebook. Monica had posted again. This time it was a picture of Patricia sitting with the twins. They were all smiling big fake smiles. The caption said, "When some people give up, others step up." So grateful for family who understands what commitment really means. Teaching my girls that real love doesn't run away when things get hard. Thank you, Patricia, for being our rock. She'd tagged Patricia and Derek and a bunch of other people. The comments were full of people saying what a good person Patricia was. What a good grandmother. How lucky Monica was. Few people asked about me, but Monica ignored those comments. My sister Marie had commented though. She wrote, "Is Linda okay? Has anyone talked to her?" I clicked on Marie's name and sent her a private message. "I'm fine. I'm in Ohio. I'm home. Please don't worry. I'll explain everything later." Then I closed Facebook and didn't look at it again. At 2 o'clock I drove to Barbara Henderson's office. It was in a small building downtown. Her office was neat and organized with plants on the windowsill and comfortable chairs. She was about my age with gray hair and glasses. She shook my hand and offered me coffee. Then she sat down across from me and said, "Tell me everything." So I did. I told her about moving to Portland to help with the twins. About doing all the cooking and cleaning and childcare for 3 years. About the $60,000 I'd loaned Monica for Patricia's party. About the bills I'd paid and the groceries I'd bought. About the $25 Starbucks card and the Facebook post that called me greedy. About leaving and coming home. When I finished, she was quiet for a minute. Then she said, "Linda, you have a very strong case." "Really?" I said. I wasn't sure. I didn't have anything in writing. "Really?" she said. "You have the bank transfer showing $60,000 going from your account to theirs. That's powerful evidence. And the fact that they've never paid you back despite promising to. That's called breach of contract. Even without a written agreement, we can prove they owed you that money." "What do we do?" I asked. First she said we send them a letter. A legal letter demanding repayment within 72 hours. If they don't pay, we can file a lien on their property. That means they can't sell their house or borrow against it until they pay you back. "Okay," I said. "Let's do it." We spent the next hour writing that letter together. It was formal and cold and used big words I didn't understand. But it said what needed to be said. Monica Jackson and Derek Jackson owe Linda Foster $60,000 plus interest. They have 72 hours to pay or face legal action. Barbara said she'd send it by special mail that required a signature, so we'd know they got it. I drove home feeling strong. Stronger than I'd felt in years. That night I made myself a real dinner. Spaghetti with sauce from a jar and garlic bread. I ate in front of my TV watching an old movie. Nobody asked me to cut their food. Nobody spilled their drink. Nobody needed help with anything. It was peaceful. The next few days were quiet. I worked in my garden pulling weeds. I went to the library and got books. I visited with Mrs. Chen and my other neighbors who were so happy I was back. Felt like myself again. Like Linda. Not mom or grandma. Just Linda. On the third day my phone rang. It was a number I didn't know from Portland. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. "Hello," I said. "Is this Linda Foster?" a woman's voice asked. "Yes," I said. "This is Riverside Elementary School," she said. "We have your granddaughter Sophia here in the office. School ended 2 hours ago, but nobody has come to pick her up. You're listed as the emergency contact." My heart dropped into my stomach. Sophia. One of the twins. Sweet little Sophia with the gap in her front teeth. "I'm in Ohio," I said. My voice shaking. "I don't live in Portland anymore. You need to call her parents." "We've been trying," the woman said, sounding frustrated. "Neither of them is answering their phones. Sophia is getting very upset. She's the last child here." Felt terrible. Poor Sophia sitting there alone and scared. But I couldn't help. I was 1,000 miles away. And more than that, Monica and Derek were doing this on purpose. Using their own daughter to try to control me. I took a deep breath. "I'm sorry," I said. "But I can't help you. I don't live there anymore. Monica and Derek need to update their emergency contact information. Please keep trying to reach them." But this isn't my responsibility. The woman sounded shocked. But she's your granddaughter. I know, I said. And I love her very much. But her parents need to take care of her. That's their job. I hung up before the woman could say anything else. Then I turned off my phone and sat down on my couch. My hands were shaking. My heart was pounding. Felt awful. But I also knew Sophia wasn't really in danger. Monica and Derek were somewhere nearby. Probably watching their phones and waiting for me to panic. Waiting for me to call them begging to help. This was their strategy. Use the kids. Make me feel guilty. Make me come running back. But I wasn't going to do it. An hour later I turned my phone back on. There were 50 new messages. All from Monica. All saying horrible things. How could you abandon Sophia? You're a monster. What kind of grandmother does this? Sophia cried for an hour. She thinks you hate her. You've traumatized your own granddaughter. You're sick. You're evil. Hope you're happy. On and on. But nowhere in those messages did it say Sophia was home safe. 'Cause she was. Monica had picked her up right after I refused. The whole thing was fake. Trap. And I hadn't fallen for it. I didn't respond to any of the messages. Instead, I forwarded them all to Barbara. She called me 10 minutes later. Linda, she said. This is harassment. And using a child as a manipulation tool is despicable. I'm going to add this to our case file. The lien goes into effect tomorrow. Good, I said. The next morning Barbara called again. Have news, she said. Monica and Derek's lawyer contacted me. They want to negotiate. What does that mean, I asked. Means they know they're going to lose, she said. They can't sell their house or refinance or do anything with it until they pay you. And that's putting pressure on them. What do they want to negotiate, I asked. They want to pay you back over time, she said. Maybe $1,000 a month for 5 years. No, I said immediately. They had $60,000 for Patricia's party. They can find $60,000 for me. I want it all within 72 hours like we said. Or the lien stays. Are you sure, Barbara asked. Once we take this position there's no going back. I'm sure, I said. I've never been more sure of anything. "'Kay," she said. I'll tell them. 2 days later Barbara called again. Her voice sounded happy. They're wiring the money, she said. All $60,000 plus the interest and my legal fees. Total of $64,500. It'll be in your account by this afternoon. I sat down on my couch. They actually paid me back. I didn't feel happy exactly. Felt relieved. Relieved and sad. Sad that it had come to this. That I'd had to hire a lawyer to get my own daughter to pay me back. That afternoon I checked my bank account. There it was. $64,500. I stared at the number on the screen. 'Twas real. 'Twas mine. I called Barbara to thank her. You stood up for yourself, she said. That takes courage. Especially with family. I'm proud of you. After I hung up I sat in my rocking chair on the front porch. It was a beautiful afternoon. The sun was warm. The birds were singing. My roses were blooming pink and red and yellow. Felt peaceful. Peaceful in a way I hadn't felt in 3 years. My phone rang. 'Twas Marie. Linda, she said. I saw Monica's Facebook posts. Are you really okay? I'm okay, I said. Better than okay, actually. I'm home. What happened, she asked. So I told her everything. The whole story from beginning to end. When I finished she was quiet for a minute. I'm sorry, she finally said. I'm so sorry Monica treated you that way. You deserved better. Thank you, I said. That means a lot. Do you think you'll ever talk to her again, Marie asked. I don't know, I said. Maybe someday. But not now. Right now I need to take care of myself. Good, Marie said. You deserve that. We talked for a while longer about her kids and her husband and normal family things. Felt good. Normal. After we hung up I made myself dinner and watched TV and went to bed early. I slept better than I had in 3 years. The next few weeks were peaceful. I got back into my old routines. Garden club on Tuesdays. Book club on Thursdays. Coffee with Mrs. Chen on Saturday mornings. I started painting again. Something I used to love but hadn't had time for in years. I set up an easel in my spare bedroom and painted flowers and trees and sunsets. One morning I got a letter in the mail. It was from a company called Genesis Development. The envelope was thick and official looking. I opened it carefully. Inside was a letter and a bunch of papers. The letter said Genesis Development was buying houses in my neighborhood. They wanted to build a big office building. They were offering to buy my house. I looked at the number at the bottom of the page. $1,250,000. I read it again to make sure I wasn't seeing things. $1.25 million. For my little house. My little 2-bedroom house with the rose bushes and the rocking chair. I sat down at my kitchen table and stared at that number. It was more money than I'd ever imagined having. More money than I'd saved in my whole life. Called Barbara Henderson right away. I have a question, I said. About a house sale. She told me to come in that afternoon. I brought the letter and all the papers. She read through everything carefully. This is legitimate, she said. Genesis Development is a huge company. They're known for paying fair prices. This is an excellent offer. Should I take it, I asked. That depends, she said. Do you want to stay in this house? Thought about it. I loved my house. But it was just a house. Home wasn't a building. Home was a feeling. And I could have that feeling anywhere. Plus $1.25 million would let me do anything I wanted. Go anywhere I wanted. Be anyone I wanted. Yes, I said. I want to sell. Barbara helped me sign the papers. The sale would take 2 months to finalize. But once it was done, I'd have more money than I'd ever dreamed of. I went home and started making plans. Maybe I'd buy a smaller house or a condo somewhere warm. Maybe I'd travel. See places I'd only read about in books. Maybe I'd just live simply and save the money for myself. For my future. For once in my life, I'd think about what I wanted instead of what everyone else needed. A few weeks later, I got an email from Monica. Not a text message. An email. The subject line said, "Please read this." I almost deleted it without opening it. But curiosity got the better of me. The email was long. Really long. It started with "I don't know where to begin." Then it went into a long explanation about how stressed she'd been. How hard it was raising twins and working full-time. How she didn't mean to hurt me. How the Facebook post was just a joke. How she thought I understood. How she never meant for any of this to happen. She said she was sorry about the Starbucks card. She'd meant to get me something better but ran out of time. She said she was sorry about the Facebook post. She didn't realize it would hurt my feelings. She said she was grateful I'd come to help them. She didn't know what they would have done without me. Then at the end she said, "We miss you. The twins ask about you every day. Derek and I have been talking and we realize we took you for granted. Would you consider coming back? We'd love to have you here for Thanksgiving." I read the whole thing twice. Sounded sincere. Almost. But it was missing something. It was missing the truth. Missing the acknowledgement of what she'd really done. Using me. Taking my money. Valuing me at $25. Publicly humiliating me. Making me feel like I was less than Patricia. It was an apology but not a real one. It was an apology that said, "I'm sorry you feel that way," instead of "I'm sorry for what I did." I closed the email without responding. 2 weeks later the house sale went through. $1,250,000 appeared in my bank account. I sat at my kitchen table and looked at that number on my computer screen. I was rich. Not millionaire with a big house and fancy cars rich. But comfortable for the rest of my life rich. Never have to worry about money again rich. I called Marie and told her. She screamed so loud I had to hold the phone away from my ear. "Linda," she yelled. "That's amazing. What are you going to do?" "I don't know," I said. "But I have time to figure it out." I decided to rent a small apartment while I figured out my next move. I didn't need much space. Just a bedroom and a kitchen and a view of something pretty. I found a perfect place near downtown. Modern and clean with big windows. I moved in with my suitcase and my favorite things and felt like I was starting a brand new life. 'Cause I was. One night I was sitting in my new apartment drinking tea and looking out at the city lights when my phone rang. It was a number I didn't recognize. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Hello, I said. Grandma Linda, a small voice said. My heart stopped. It was Sophia. Sophia, honey, I said. How are you? I miss you, she said. Her voice was small and sad. When are you coming back? Oh, sweetheart, I said. My eyes filling with tears. I miss you too. So much. But I'm not coming back to Portland. I live in Ohio now. Why, she asked. Don't you love us anymore? Course I love you, I said. My voice cracking. I love you and your sister more than anything in the whole world. Then why did you leave, she asked. I could hear her starting to cry. I took a deep breath. Sometimes grown-ups have to make hard choices, I said. Your mommy and I had some problems we needed to fix. But that has nothing to do with you. You didn't do anything wrong. Can I come visit you, she asked. Maybe during summer vacation, I said. We can go to the zoo and get ice cream. Would you like that? Yes, she said. I heard Monica's voice in the background calling for Sophia. I have to go, Grandma. Love you. I love you too, baby, I said. So much. The phone went dead. I sat there crying for a long time. This was the hardest part. Not the money or the fighting or even Monica's cruelty. It was losing my granddaughters. They were innocent in all of this. They didn't understand why Grandma had disappeared. Why I wasn't there to read bedtime stories or make pancakes on Sunday mornings. But I couldn't go back. Going back meant letting Monica use me again. Meant accepting that I was worth $25. Meant teaching those little girls that it was okay to treat people badly as long as they were family. I had to believe that someday they'd understand. Someday when they were older they'd see what really happened. And maybe then we could have a relationship again. Healthy one. But not now. Now I had to save myself. The next few months were the best of my life. I bought a ticket to Italy. Something I'd always dreamed of doing. I spent 2 weeks in Rome and Florence and Venice. I ate pasta and gelato and drank wine at outdoor cafes. I visited museums and churches and walked on ancient streets. I met other travelers. People from all over the world. We shared stories and laughed and took pictures together. Nobody knew I was somebody's mother or grandmother. I was just Linda, an American woman seeing the world. When I came back to Ohio, I felt different. Lighter. Happier. More myself than I'd been in decades. I started volunteering at the library. Reading to kids on Saturday mornings. They'd gather around in a circle and I'd read them stories about dragons and princesses and adventures. Their faces would light up with wonder. Afterward they'd hug me and thank me and I'd feel that grandma feeling in my heart. But when the hour was over I got to go home. Got to rest. Got to be Linda again. I joined a painting class at the community center. Once a week I'd go and paint with other people who loved art. We'd talk and laugh and share techniques. Some of them became good friends. Real friends who liked me for me. Not for what I could do for them. On my 61st birthday I threw myself a party. Just a small one with Marie and Mrs. Chen and my friends from painting class. We had cake and coffee and sat on my apartment balcony watching the sunset. Marie gave me a beautiful scarf. Mrs. Chen gave me a plant for my kitchen. My painting friends gave me new brushes and paints. Nobody gave me a gift card. Nobody posted about me on Facebook. It was perfect. Simple and perfect. That night after everyone left I sat alone on my balcony. The city was quiet. The stars were coming out. I thought about Monica. Wondered what she was doing. She ever thought about me? If she understood what she'd done. I thought about sending her a message. Maybe telling her about my trip to Italy. About my new apartment. About how happy I was. But I didn't. Some bridges stay burned. Some relationships can't be fixed. And that's okay. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do for yourself is walk away. Even from family. Especially from family who doesn't value you. I pulled out my phone and looked at my bank account. The number was still there. Still real. More money than I'd ever need. Money that was mine. That nobody could take from me or guilt me into giving away. I thought about that $25 Starbucks card. The gift that had changed everything. In a weird way I was grateful for it. Because it had opened my eyes. Had shown me the truth I'd been refusing to see for 3 years. That I was being used. That my love and time and money meant nothing to Monica. That I deserved better. $25 had set me free. Had led me home. Had given me back my life. I smiled and put my phone away. Tomorrow I was going to the art supply store to buy a big canvas. I wanted to paint something special. Something just for me. Maybe the sunset I was watching right now. Orange and pink and purple spreading across the sky like a promise. A promise that endings can be beautiful. That starting over at 61 is possible. That life goes on. And sometimes it gets better. So much better than you ever imagined. I raised my teacup to the sky. To second chances. To standing up for yourself. To going home. The air was getting cold, so I went inside. My little apartment was warm and cozy. My space. My rules. My life. I made myself dinner and watched a movie and went to bed when I felt like it. Nobody needed anything from me. Nobody expected anything from me. I was finally free. A few weeks later I got another email from Monica. This one was different. Order. Less fake. Said, "Mom, I heard about your house sale. Congratulations. That's amazing. I know things between us are complicated right now. I know I messed up. I'm working on understanding how. Derek and I started going to a therapist. She's helping us see things differently. I'm not asking you to forgive me or come back. I just wanted you to know I'm trying. Twins miss you. Miss you. Maybe someday we can talk. Really talk. No pressure. Just wanted you to know. Monica." I read it 3 times. It sounded more honest than her other emails. More real. But I still wasn't ready. Maybe I never would be. I wrote back a short message. "Thank you for reaching out. I'm glad you're getting help. I need more time. Please respect that." I hit send and closed my laptop. That's what I needed. Time to heal. Time to build my new life. Time to figure out who Linda was when she wasn't taking care of everyone else. Spring came and my balcony filled with flowers. Planted them in pots. Tulips and daisies and petunias. Every morning I'd water them and watch them grow. It reminded me of my old garden. But this one was smaller. More manageable. Perfect for one person. Marie came to visit and we spent a week exploring the city. Going to restaurants and museums and plays. We laughed until our stomachs hurt. Stayed up late talking like we did when we were young. One night over dinner she asked me, "Do you think you'll ever forgive Monica?" "I don't know," I said. "Part of me wants to. She's my daughter. I love her. But another part of me knows that forgiving her might mean letting her hurt me again." "You don't have to decide right now," Marie said. "We'll have time. Lots of time." She was right. I did have time. For the first time in my life I had all the time in the world. No schedule to keep. No one depending on me. Just me and my flowers and my paintings and my quiet, peaceful life. Summer came and I got a card in the mail. It was handmade. Construction paper with glitter and stickers. Inside was a drawing of 2 stick figures holding hands. One tall and one short. Above it said, "I miss you, Grandma Linda. Love, Sophia." My eyes filled with tears. I put the card on my refrigerator where I could see it every day. That night I called Monica's house. My hands were shaking as I dialed. She answered on the 3rd ring. "Mom," she said. She sounded surprised. "Hi," I said. "Got Sophia's card. Thank you for sending it." "She made it herself," Monica said. "She asked if she could mail it to you." Said yes. "Hope that's okay." "It's more than okay," I said. "I love it." There was a long silence. Then Monica said, "I meant what I said in my email. I'm really trying to understand what I did wrong. The therapist is helping me see how I treated you. How I took advantage." "Sorry. It's a start," I said. "That's all it is right now. Start." "I know," Monica said. "Can I ask you something?" she said. "Course. Do you think you'll ever come back to Portland? To visit, I mean." "Thought about it. Maybe," I said. "Someday. But not yet." "Understand," she said. "Well, the girls would love to see you. Anytime you're ready." We talked for a few more minutes. Awkward small talk about the weather and her job. But it was something. A tiny crack in the wall between us. When I hung up I felt lighter. I wasn't ready to forgive. Wasn't ready to forget. But maybe someday I would be. Maybe. Fall came and the leaves turned golden and red. I went for long walks in the park, breathing in the cool air, feeling alive, feeling grateful. 1 year had passed since my 60th birthday. 1 year since the Starbucks card and the Facebook post and the day I walked away. I thought about throwing myself another party but decided against it. Instead, I spent the day alone, painting and reading and drinking tea on my balcony. It was perfect, quiet and peaceful and mine. That night I logged onto Facebook for the first time in months. I scrolled through my feed. Pictures of old friends and their grandkids. Vacation photos. Recipes. The usual stuff. Then I saw a post from Monica. It was a picture of her and Derek and the twins. They were at the park. Everyone was smiling. The caption said grateful for family. Learning every day what really matters. Thankful for second chances. She hadn't tagged me. Hadn't mentioned me. But somehow I knew it was meant for me to see. Message. An olive branch. I didn't like the post. Didn't comment. But I didn't feel angry either. I just felt neutral. Like it was someone else's life. Someone else's story. I closed Facebook and went to bed. Tomorrow I was flying to California to visit an old friend from college. We were going to drive up the coast and see the redwood forests. I'd never seen them before. I was excited. Life was full of firsts now. First time traveling alone. First time making decisions just for me. First time having enough money to not worry. First time feeling truly free. I fell asleep thinking about those giant trees. How old they were. How they'd survived storms and fires and time. How they kept growing no matter what. I was like those trees. Older now. Scarred but surviving. Still growing. Still reaching toward the sun. The trip to California was amazing. The redwoods were even more beautiful than I'd imagined. Trees so tall you had to bend your head back to see the tops. So old they'd been standing for thousands of years. My friend Susan and I drove slowly through the forest, stopping to take pictures and just stare in wonder. These trees have seen everything, Susan said. Wars and peace. Birth and death. They just keep standing. Like you, I said. Like me, she agreed. We both laughed. That night we stayed in a little cabin near the ocean. We made dinner and drank wine and talked about our lives. Susan had been divorced twice. Had 3 kids who barely called her. She understood what it meant to be disappointed by family. But she was happy now. Had her own business. Her own friends. Her own life. You're different, Susan said. Than you were before. Stronger. I said. Had to be. We sat on the porch watching the sunset over the ocean. The sky was on fire with color. Beautiful and wild and free. Just like I felt. When I got back to Ohio, I had a message from Monica. Would you like to video chat with the twins this weekend, she asked. They really want to see you. I thought about it for a long time. Then I wrote back yes. Saturday at 2. That Saturday I logged onto the video call. Monica's face appeared on the screen. Then the twins. Sophia and Emma. They were so much bigger than the last time I'd seen them. Grandma, they both screamed. They were smiling and waving and talking over each other. We miss you. When are you coming to visit? Look at my missing tooth. I got an A on my spelling test. My heart felt full and broken at the same time. I missed them so much. But I couldn't go back to being what I was before. The free nanny. The unpaid helper. The woman who gave everything and got $25 in return. We talked for 30 minutes. I asked about school and friends and their favorite books. They showed me their rooms and their toys and their drawings. Monica stayed in the background, quiet, letting us have this time. When it was time to say goodbye, the twins made me promise to call again next week. Promise, I said. I love you both so much. We love you too, Grandma, they said. After they left, Monica stayed on the call. Thank you, she said, for doing this. It means everything to them. You're welcome, I said. Monica took a deep breath. Mom, I want you to know something. I finally understand what I did. How I used you. How I took you for granted. How that Facebook post was cruel. The therapist helped me see it. I'm so sorry. He nodded. I appreciate you saying that. I know words don't fix it, she said. But I'm trying to be better. To do better. can see that, I said. And I'm glad. But I still need time. I know, she said. Take all the time you need. We said goodbye and I closed my laptop. Felt good. Not perfect, but good. A small step toward healing. Maybe. Winter came and I decided to spend it somewhere warm. I rented a small house in Florida for 3 months. Right on the beach. Every morning I'd wake up to the sound of waves. I'd make coffee and sit on the porch watching the sunrise. The sky would turn from dark blue to pink to gold. It was like watching a miracle happen every single day. I met other retirees. People who'd worked hard their whole lives and were now enjoying their freedom. We'd have potluck dinners and game nights and beach bonfires. Nobody asked about my family. Nobody needed anything from me. We were just people living our lives. One woman named Dorothy became a good friend. She was 75 and had lived through her own family drama. Her son had stolen money from her, forged checks, lied to her face. She'd had to get a restraining order against him. I thought I was the only one, she said one night as we walked on the beach. The only one whose family treated them badly. But we're not, she said. It's more common than people think. People just don't talk about it. Why not, I asked. Shame, Dorothy said. They think it's their fault. That they failed as parents. But sometimes people are just selfish. Even your own kids. He nodded. She was right. I'd spent so long blaming myself. Wondering what I'd done wrong. How I'd raised Monica to treat me this way. But maybe it wasn't my fault. Maybe Monica made her own choices. Bad choices. And I didn't have to accept them. When I got back to Ohio in the spring, I felt renewed. Strong. Ready for whatever came next. I got an email from a lawyer I didn't know. It was about my late husband Tom's estate. Apparently there was some old stock he'd bought decades ago. Stock in a tech company that had been worthless when he died. But now that company had been bought by a bigger company. The stock was worth money. A lot of money. $130,000. I stared at the email in disbelief. More money. Even more than I already had. Felt like the universe was rewarding me. Telling me I'd made the right choice. I used some of the money to set up college funds for Sophia and Emma. $20,000 each. I didn't tell Monica. I told the lawyer to set it up so the girls would get it when they turned 18. No matter what happened between Monica and me, the girls would have something for their future. The rest I saved. I was set for life now. More than set. Comfortable. Secure. Free. That summer Marie got sick. Nothing serious, but enough that she needed help for a few weeks. I went to stay with her. Made her soup. Did her laundry. Kept her company. Felt good to help someone. But it was different than with Monica. Marie was grateful. Said thank you. Didn't expect me to do everything. When she was better, she tried to pay me. I refused. You're my sister, I said. I want to help you. But I appreciate you offering. See, Marie said. That's the difference. He offered. I acknowledged what you did for me. Monica never did that. You're right, I said. She never did. The video calls with the twins became a regular thing. Every Saturday at 2. Sometimes Monica would join. Sometimes she'd leave us alone. Slowly I could see her trying. Really trying. She'd ask about my life. My trips. My painting. She'd listen without interrupting. Without making it about her. It was strange. This new version of Monica. I didn't quite trust it yet. But I could see the effort. One day she asked, "Can I ask you something?" Sure, I said. Do you think you'll ever forgive me? I don't know, I said honestly. I'm not as angry as I was. But I'm not ready to forget either. That's fair, she said. I don't deserve your forgiveness. But I hope someday you'll give it anyway. Maybe, I said. We'll see. That fall Monica asked if I wanted to visit Portland for Thanksgiving. Just for a few days, she said. You could stay in a hotel if that's more comfortable. We'd love to see you. I thought about it for a long time. Talked to Marie about it. Talked to Dorothy. Talked to my therapist. Yes, I'd started seeing a therapist too. She was helping me work through everything. Finally I decided to go. But on my terms. I'd stay in a hotel. I'd rent my own car. I'd leave whenever I wanted. Monica agreed to everything. The visit was awkward at first. Seeing Monica and Derek in person after almost 2 years. Being in their house where I'd spent so many unhappy days. But the twins made it easier. They were so excited to see me. Showed me everything. Their school projects. Their new bikes. Their favorite books. We baked cookies together and watched movies and played games. Felt good. Really good. Thanksgiving dinner was nice. Monica had ordered most of it from a restaurant. She didn't ask me to cook anything. Didn't expect me to clean up. We all ate together and talked and laughed. Derek even apologized to me. Said he was sorry for how they treated me. For taking advantage. I accepted his apology. It didn't erase what happened. But it was something. On my last day, Monica and I went for coffee. Just the two of us. We sat in a quiet corner and talked. Really talked. She told me about therapy. About what she was learning. About how she'd been so focused on keeping up with everyone else that she'd lost sight of what mattered. I told her how much she'd hurt me. How the Facebook post had broken something inside me. How the $25 gift card had been the final straw. She cried. Real tears. Not fake ones. I'm so sorry, Mom, she said. I was awful to you. Worse than awful. Yes, you were, I said. But I'm here now. Trying. That's all I can do right now is try. That's enough, she said. That's more than enough. When I got back to Ohio, I felt different. Lighter. Like maybe healing was actually possible. Like maybe our relationship could be rebuilt. Different than before. Healthier. With boundaries and respect and honesty. I wasn't ready to move back to Portland. Might never be ready for that. But I was ready to be in the twins' lives again. To video chat every week. To visit a few times a year. To be Grandma Linda. But on my own terms. My 62nd birthday was quiet. I spent it with Marie and a few close friends. We had dinner at a nice restaurant and went to see a play. It was lovely. Simple and lovely. No Facebook post. No gift cards. No drama. Just people who cared about me celebrating another year of my life. That night I got a package in the mail. It was from Monica and the twins. Inside was a framed picture of all of us from Thanksgiving. And a handmade book. The cover said Why We Love Grandma Linda. Inside were drawings and words from the twins. I love Grandma because she makes the best cookies. I love Grandma because she reads funny voices. I love Grandma because she gives the best hugs. At the back was a note from Monica. Mom, I know I can never make up for what I did. But I want to spend the rest of my life trying. Thank you for giving me another chance. I don't deserve it, but I'm grateful for it. I'll do better. Promise. Love, Monica. I put the book on my shelf next to my other favorite things. Didn't fix everything. Didn't erase the past. But it was a start. Good start. I looked around my apartment. My paintings on the walls. My flowers on the balcony. My books on the shelves. This was my life now. My beautiful, quiet, independent life. I'd lost things. My daughter's respect. Years with my granddaughters. Money I'd never get back. But I'd gained so much more. My self-respect. My freedom. My peace. I'd learned that loving someone doesn't mean letting them hurt you. That family doesn't give anyone the right to use you. That sometimes the kindest thing you can do is walk away. I'd learned that I was strong. Stronger than I ever knew. Strong enough to leave. Strong enough to stand up for myself. Strong enough to start over at 60. And I'd learned that life can surprise you. That $25 can lead to 1.25 million. That the worst day of your life can be the beginning of the best chapter. I made myself a cup of tea and sat by the window. Outside the sun was setting. The sky was pink and orange and purple. Beautiful. So beautiful it almost hurt to look at. Tomorrow I was going to start a new painting. Big one. Of a woman standing on a beach watching the sunrise. Her arms spread wide. Her face turned toward the light. Free. That woman was me. And this was my story. The story of how a $25 gift card changed my life. How it showed me the truth. How it set me free. People ask me if I regret leaving. If I wish I'd stayed and worked things out. My answer is always no. Leaving was the best decision I ever made. Saved my life. Not in a dramatic way, but in a quiet, important way. Saved me from disappearing. From becoming nothing but a helper. Wallet. Pair of hands. It reminded me that I was Linda. Person with dreams and hopes and worth. A person who deserved respect and kindness and love. Real love. Not the kind that comes with conditions and expectations. Not the kind that takes and never gives back. But the kind that sees you, values you, cherishes you. Found that love. Not from Monica. Not yet anyway. Maybe someday. But from myself. I learned to love myself enough to walk away. To stand up. To say no more. And that made all the difference. Now when I look in the mirror, I see someone I'm proud of. Someone strong and brave and independent. Someone who survived. Who thrived. Who bloomed even after everything tried to crush her. The twins are 10 now. We talk every week. They came to visit me last summer. Just them. Monica put them on a plane and they spent a week with me in Ohio. We had the best time. Went to the zoo. Made craft. Stayed up late watching movies and eating popcorn. When they left they hugged me so tight. Grandma Linda Sophia said, "This was the best week ever." "Mine too, baby," I said. "Mine too." Monica sent me a message after they got home. "Thank you for loving them. Thank you for giving them a grandmother who shows them what strength looks like." I cried when I read that. Happy tears. Maybe Monica was changing. Really changing. Or maybe she was just saying what I wanted to hear. Time would tell. But either way I was okay. I didn't need Monica to change to be happy. I didn't need her approval or her apology or her love. Those things would be nice. But I didn't need them. I had myself. And that was enough. More than enough. I'm 63 now. Healthy and happy and free. I travel when I want. Paint when I want. Rest when I want. Answer to no one. My life is mine. Completely and totally mine. Sometimes I think about that day. My 60th birthday. Standing in Monica's kitchen holding that phone. Seeing those words. Different types of people. I think about how much it hurt. How small it made me feel. But I also think about what came next. The strength I found. The life I built. The woman I became. And I realized that day was a gift. Not the $25 gift card. But the wake-up call. The moment everything became clear. The moment I chose myself. So in a strange way I'm grateful. Grateful for the hurt that led to healing. For the loss that led to finding myself. For the ending that became a beginning. People say you can't put a price on family. They're wrong. Monica put a price on me. $25. But I put a price on my freedom. On my dignity. On my self-worth. And that price was priceless. Worth walking away for. Worth starting over for. Worth everything. This is my story. The story of how I lost my daughter but found myself. The story of how $25 changed everything. The story of how I learned that sometimes the best gift is the one you give yourself. The gift of freedom. Choice. Of a new beginning. And I wouldn't change a single thing. Not the pain. Not the loss. Not the hard parts. Because all of it led me here. To this beautiful quiet life. To this version of myself I'm proud of. To this peace I never knew was possible. I'm sitting on my balcony now. The sun is setting again. The sky is doing that thing it does. Turning colors that don't seem real. Pink and gold and deep blue purple. My tea is warm in my hands. My flowers are blooming in their pots. My life is exactly what I want it to be. Tomorrow Maria and I are going to a concert. Next month I'm flying to Arizona to see the Grand Canyon. Next year who knows? Maybe I'll learn to speak Italian. Maybe I'll write a book. Maybe I'll adopt a cat. The possibilities are endless. 'Cause my life is my own. My choices are my own. My future is my own. I'm not anyone's free nanny. Not anyone's item. Not anyone's servant. I'm Linda. Just Linda. And that's more than enough. That's everything. I close my eyes and breathe in the evening air. Somewhere far away Monica is putting the twins to bed. Reading them stories. Kissing them goodnight. I hope she's learned. I hope she's changed. I hope she's treating them better than she treated me. But even if she hasn't, I'm okay. I'm more than okay. I'm free. And freedom tastes sweeter than any apology ever could. The stars are coming out now. One by one. Little points of light in the darkness. Each one shining on its own. Each one beautiful. Each one enough. Just like me. I smile and raise my teacup to the sky. To second chances. To new beginnings. To finding yourself at 60. To $25 lessons that cost $1 million. To walking away. To coming home. To freedom. The sky darkens. The stars multiply. And I sit here in my peaceful little life. Happy. Whole. Free. This is where my story ends. Or maybe it's where it really begins. Either way, I'm ready. Ready for whatever comes next. Because I know now that I can handle anything. I'm strong enough. Brave enough. Enough. And that's the greatest gift of all. Not the one Monica gave me. But the one I gave myself. The end.